products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
राज, बाबूजी के आशीर्वाद से हमने अपनी नई शुरुआत तो कर ली, पर अपना फ्यूचर प्लान कैसे करें?
बड़े-बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी-छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं.
Looking for perfect start? Get a Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
जब मैं तेरी उम्र का था ना, तो एक सक्सेसफुल करियर, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग सब रेडी करके रख चुका था. और एक इन महाराज को देखो, पूरा दिन फोन में लगा रहेगा.
दैट प्लानिंग तो मैंने भी कर रखी है, Unocoin के साथ.
नए जमाने के साथ नई चीजें आजमाएं. Looking for Bitcoin? Download the Unocoin app.
We really need to work hard. This wasn't a good quarter. Tell me, are you happy with this?
Yes! Unocoin.
Want to earn Bitcoin? Just grab your phone and shake it. Download the Unocoin app.
Bitcoin.
Get a systematic buying plan from the Unocoin app to get your Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
नमस्ते डियर उनोकॉइनर्स, एक बार फिर से स्वागत है आप सबका इन अनदर वन ऑफ उनोकॉइंस एएमए एपिसोड, जहां पर हम बात करते हैं तरह तरह के टॉपिक्स की जो कि हमारे बिटकॉइन और क्रिप्टो करेंसी से रिलेटेड होते हैं. आप सब कैसे हैं ये बताइए. और क्योंकि हाल में हमने जो रैली देखी है उसको देखते हुए तो लग रहा है कि सबकी जो होप्स है वो काफी ज्यादा हाई हो चुके हैं, तो उसकी भी चर्चा करेंगे. लेकिन उसके पहले हम आज के अपने गेस्ट से मुलाकात कर लेते हैं. वो आर वेरी स्पेशल एंड वी आर वेरी ग्लैड टू हैव देम विद अस टुडे ऑन आवर शो, Maxim and Pratik. So, how are you, Maxim and Pratik? We are so glad to have you.
Doing good.
Just to give a little bit of introduction, Pratik and Max are a part of very important company, and actually, from what I know, it brings value to a system, which is already in a growing stage. Coinchange, and Coinchange is an amazing company, and I'm sure, its utilities are so vast in terms of stable coins. We are going to focus on that particularly today. So how about Pratik and Max, we start with you telling us a little about Coinchange. I feel your mic is muted, Max.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, hi. Yeah, I was saying thanks for having us. Really pleasure. Pratik, I'll probably give a couple of minutes roundabout Reddit and on Coinchange business, and then we can jump into the details and the stablecoin environment. So yeah, we're based in Canada. It's a Canadian business, headquartered in Canada. We have our offices in Warsaw, in Poland as well, in Europe, and we're expanding right now to Singapore. So we've been around for 4 years. We are about 50 people right now worldwide. We have thousands of clients. We offer primarily products to exchanges, and those products comprise of spend and earn product, and they're available through an API when the exchange or a wallet or a neobank can embed our account to offer to their customers an ability to earn on a stable coins daily without any lockup and fully transparently on chain, because everything is powered by DeFi smart contracts that we've developed. So there's two main features. One of them is an earn product. The other one is a spend product. And we also have a pretty successful OTC desk in the US. It's still licensed in a bunch of states. Still has a US banking. As you guys know, there was a lot of banking issues in the US, right? From for crypto and non for crypto because of the crazy T-bills rally. So we're still banked and we have very good rails. So the OTC business has been growing fast. We have also a fully licensed regulated fund that we manage. So out of Gibraltar. So there is an auditor and a regulator that we report to, right? So all the performance is tracked and validated by a third party. So yeah, so it's an API business for exchanges, wallets, and neobanks when we offer earn and spend products to them. Spend product is a prepaid gift card and a Visa card. So pretty much an exchange client is able to buy a gift card or a prepaid Visa card denominated in a dollar or local currency through our API, right? So we enable exchanges to offer more services and more features to their clients, and to grow utility, right, and benefits for their users. Pratik, is there anything that I'm missing?
Absolutely. Pratik, so before you start answering that, can you please do it in Hindi also, because a lot of our viewers are going to be, Indians and they don't exactly comprehend English.
श्योर तो कॉइनचेंज एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जहाँ पे क्रिप्टो आप सिर्फ होल्ड नहीं कर सकते बट डिपॉजिट करके उस पे आप यील्ड ये कर सकते हैं. मानिए आप बैंक में जब रुपीज रखते हो तो आपको एक इंटरेस्ट मिलता है उस पे, राइट? बैंक डिपॉजिट, फिक्स डिपॉजिट करते हो तो आप आपका पैसा लॉक करते हो एक ड्यूरेशन के लिए, फिर उसके ऊपर आपको बैंक्स इंटरेस्ट देता है. यहाँ पे यू डोंट हैव टू लॉक, आपको लॉक भी नहीं करना है. एक्चुअली इट इज विड्रॉएबल, आप कभी भी विड्रॉ कर सकते हो उसको. लेकिन आप जब तक रखते हो प्लेटफॉर्म पे तब तक हम लोग डिसेंट्रलाइज फाइनेंस यूज करके उस पे स्ट्रेटेजीज यूज करते हैं और उस पे जो हमको इंटरेस्ट मिलता है, यील्ड मिलता है, वो हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते हैं ऑन अ डेली बेसिस. सो एवरी डे आप देखोगे आपका बैलेंस डैशबोर्ड पे तो आपका वो बढ़ते जाएगा. सपोज आप बिटकॉइन होल्ड कर रहे हो, बिटकॉइन आज 1 है आपका, तो उस पे इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा, कल आपका 1 पॉइंट समथिंग होगा. सो बढ़ते जाता है वो डेली. सो वैसा हमारा बिटकॉइन का प्रोडक्ट है, इथेरियम का प्रोडक्ट है, स्टेबल कॉइन्स बोल के जो आज का टॉपिक है उसके ऊपर भी प्रोडक्ट, और मेन हमारा स्टेबल कॉइन अर्न बोल के प्रोडक्ट है, जिधर हम यूएसडीसी, यूएसडीटी, डाई, इन सब स्टेबल कॉइन्स पे यील्ड देते हैं जब तक आप हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे होल्ड करते हो. सो ये हमारा बेसिक कोर बिजनेस है. उसके बाद हमारा स्पेंड बिजनेस यानी आपका जो क्रिप्टो है, अगर आपको बैंक्स में ऑफलोड करना है तो आपको केवाईसी करके बैंक अकाउंट डिटेल्स देना पड़ता है, फिर क्रिप्टो को आप रुपीज में कन्वर्ट करके एग्जिट कर सकते हो क्रिप्टो. लेकिन हमारा एक और फीचर है जहाँ पे आप गिफ्ट कार्ड्स में एग्जिट कर सकते हैं. सो आपको अगर अमेजोन गिफ्ट कार्ड चाहिए या कोई और दूसरा गिफ्ट कार्ड चाहिए, आप डायरेक्ट आपका क्रिप्टो बिना बैंक को छुए डायरेक्ट एक गिफ्ट कार्ड में आप डाल सकते हो, एंड वो गिफ्ट कार्ड आपका रुपीज में होगा, fiat currency में होगा. So वो एक feature है.
I think it's a lovely system, honestly, Max and Pratik, because if I'm getting it right, we see the price how it's increasing for different cryptocurrencies. On top of that, is there an interest? Is that the product?
Correct.
Yes.
करेक्ट, यस, बिकॉज आप बिटकॉइन होल्ड कर रहे हो, आपको इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है, लेकिन उसके साथ प्राइस अप्रिसिएशन भी हो रहा है. सो दोनों बेनिफिट्स मिलता है आपको. एग्जैक्टली.
I mean, yeah, the whole point of fixed deposits and things like that is to save our assets from getting from inflation, basically. And this is appreciating while actually gaining some interest as well. So I feel like this is a great, great, great product, and I feel like it has got a lot of potential and utility. So, talking about the recent Bitcoin rally, I really, because everybody has been talking about it, I really wanted to know your views on it, Max and Pratik. What do you think about that? Max, what do you think about
You know, overall crypto markets are pretty sentiment driven, right? So a lot of the price action happens because of somebody buying and announcing that they're buying, or somebody planning to buy or planning to launch a product. So due to recent turmoil in the legal regulatory environment in the US, right, with the SEC, a nice, bright light in terms of the big asset managers like BlackRock and Fidelity filing for the ETF and waiting for the approval, already spiked an interest in the market from retail. But when some fake news came out that the ETF has been approved by iShares, right, and CoinDesk gets high five for that, $400 million of liquidations that people were shorting, people started buying more. I assume there's a lot of that price action happens on the news, right, and on the emotions, right, because it's a volatile asset, and obviously you don't want to miss the price increase. But there's also an ability to keep the bottom, right? So it's also very important to see the resistance and see the price stability. So right now the price stability level is different than it was a week ago, right? So that's an interesting phenomenon when it's just spikes on the news, but then keeps flat on a certain conviction of buyers at a certain price. So yeah, Pratik.
I think it's a classic buy the rumor, sell the news thing. If we are in the buy the rumor phase right now, in this case, I still doubt that it'll be sell the news event. It'll still be buy the news event, because the news is such a big event itself. कि अगर ETFs approve हुए, then it's a very big green signal that this asset is now recognized by all the big $1 trillion asset managers, right, including BlackRock. And that is the signal people are picking up. So I feel like this whole rally is buying the rumor. People are anticipating.
So they're going to sell on the news? You think they're going to sell on the news?
I don't think so. That's what I feel like. It's different about this particular rumor. Is the news itself is the reason why people, early adopters, are adopting this. But I feel like right now it's still the crypto people who are buying this. The mainstream public has still not gotten.
So when the real ETF happens, then the retail public is going to buy.
Then all the retirement money is going to come in. Yeah, exactly. People are going to realize the gains for tax-free accounts, right? So I personally myself, I'm waiting for an ETF to get approved so I can put some of my retirement money into the ETF and gain some tax-free.
That's a good idea. Here is not an investment advice, by the way.
Not an investment, personal opinion. Yeah.
Absolutely, guys. So obviously, whenever you come to our AMA shows, it's always education based. It's always for you to learn. It's always for you to understand the technology, and never a financial advice. So keep that in mind, and always do your own research. So Pratik and Max, I was wondering, I don't know how would you like to answer this question, but do you think this is a start of the crypto or the Bitcoin bull run?
I don't know. Listen, from my side, it's really making the predictions. It's very unfavorable. It's a 50-50 chance. It's like tossing a coin. Either you're right or you're wrong. People who are right, some people predicted 2008 world crisis, right? Just because they thought it might happen, and right now they're still riding on that prediction. They're like, "Oh, I was a genius," But it's all 50-50 chance, in my opinion. So, for personal feeling, I'll tell you like what I feel personally talking to the other founders and overall in the crypto industry right now. We're all probably getting so resilient right now with this nuclear winter for the last couple of years that we don't feel it's going to get warm really soon, right? There's light, definitely the sun is rising right now, but it's not like we're going to rock and roll on the beach, and have, great summer right away. It's going to take some time for the ice to melt. So probably what it feels like everybody's bracing for a little bit longer winter right now. It doesn't mean that the Bitcoin is not going to grow, right? It's just a matter of fact, the liquidity overall in the system is pretty tight with the interest rate so high.
Yes, and it's interesting to see all of these market movements all of a sudden, and it has actually excited the market a lot. What do you think about that, Pratik?
Sorry, can you repeat the last part again?
Yeah, it's the same question. Do you think the Bitcoin or the crypto bull run is starting? It's a starting phase of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my answer would be very similar to Maxim's answer, because I've tried it in the past personally to predict, and it works. Sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't. So when it works, I can't say it's really because I predicted. I don't think it's in anybody's best interest to predict whether this is the start of the bull run or there's going to be another leg down. What I know is 4 years from now, the probability of Bitcoin price being higher than what it is right now is very high. And so based on that, maybe it is the start of the bull run. Maybe it's not. No idea. Really no idea.
Let's see. I think we have to wait at least until the halving to, say something, or at least come to some conclusion that, okay, what's going to happen in the coming few months. Okay. So, Max and Pratik, now moving into our main topic for today, which is how to generate passive incomes with stable coins. Now, we know that there is different kind of crypto out there. We have like uncountable number of cryptocurrencies out there. Some are certified, or let's say not certified, but trusted compared to the others. But what is the basic difference between other cryptocurrencies and stable coins?
Listen, I think I'll let Pratik answer this question. We're right now working on a pretty extensive stablecoin research paper, and Pratik is spearheading that initiative, and we're going to publish it very soon. So I recommend everybody to take a look and read and follow our Twitter account to make sure that you guys are not going to miss it. There's some big co-publishers as well behind it. So I think he's very well knowledgeable about the stablecoin market to respond to this question. I might add if there's anything from my personal opinion that I think might be useful.
Sure. I think the difference is in the word stablecoin itself. So if you split the word stablecoin, stable and coin, it's a coin that is stable because it is pegged to something that is underlying the underlying asset. So if you know the history of dollars, right? US dollars at one point was backed by gold. So it was pegged to physical gold at one point. After that, I think it was Nixon who announced that, okay, we're not going to peg it to gold anymore because it was difficult to manage physical reserves. And they just made it a free floating currency. So they could print N number of dollars as much as they want. Think of stablecoins as a digital dollar or on a blockchain, right? It's a dollar on a blockchain that is always supposed to be backed by an actual dollar. It could be a digital dollar. It could be a dollar in a bank, right? It doesn't have to be a physical dollar. So that's what it is. And the difference between, let's say, Bitcoin, Ethereum versus stablecoin is that it is stable. $1 of USDC is going to be $1. It's not going to appreciate in price. So you don't buy stablecoins hoping that it will go up in price in the future. You buy stablecoins for utility, to use it for certain transactions, to earn interest. You just hold rupees in bank account, right? You don't get rupees thinking that 1 rupee is going to be 5 rupee tomorrow. But you can use the rupee to buy stocks, thinking that stock will go up in price. But the rupee doesn't itself go up in price. So stable coins are like that, but it's on the blockchain, not in the traditional bank.
Interesting. And I think somebody very wise must have come up with this idea because, earning interest in all of these things. I think stablecoin has eased up a lot of things in the volatile market of cryptocurrencies. So when we talk about earning interest with them, what do we mean when we say that, Max?
So yeah, I can probably outline. And to Pratik's point, I think the big advantage of stablecoins in terms of the utility and payment, that it's 24/7, like any blockchain, like any cryptocurrency marketplace. It works 24/7, right? So there's no bank holidays, there's no bank weekends. You can send the money, people will receive the money in their wallet, right? So dollar has the instant utility, very fast transfer, very inexpensive and non-revocable. It's not like you can send something and then ask, oh, it was a mistake, give it back to me. No, it's sent and it's going to get delivered. So in terms of the earn and interest, there's a couple of options to earn interest on on a stable coin, like it is on a dollar, like it is on a rupee, on any currency, you can lend it to someone. So you can take a stable coin, lend it to Pratik, and Pratik is going to go and open a coffee shop and keep paying you every month an interest, right? Or you can lend it to a trader. Trader will be trading and hopefully making money and returning you the interest, right? So there's lending business, right? And it exists in different forms and shapes, right? Institutional, P2P, peer-to-peer, DeFi, right? That's self-governed, right, type of an application. So Binance-wise, like any bigger exchanges, right, have some lending desks, so they lend to each other. Was not really a great experience because last year there was a lot of turmoil around it, and because there was a lot of people who knew each other really well, and they didn't play by the rules quite often, and had collective interest using that capital. So way more transparent way to do lending is DeFi, because everything is over collateralized, and you can see on the application, you can see on chain what happens to your funds, right? So because there is no way you can see what happens to your funds when you send stablecoin to someone, they promise to open up a coffee shop, but they open up a car dealership. So you don't know what's going to happen, right? So on DeFi, you see what happens on the funds, and there's rules that are implied without people. So there's no people judgment, or there's no people ability to manipulate. So DeFi is very, very popular, let's say, in jurisdictions where people don't really trust their banks too much, or don't trust their counterparties too much, because DeFi manages that relationship, right? You don't know who is the other counterparty, but you know that the application, DeFi is an application. Pratik can talk more what is DeFi specifically itself. But it's an application that governs the relationship, right? Without people interacting or changing these rules. So I think lending is one. And then the other one, as you might know, was DeFi yield farming. So yield farming, again, I'll probably talk brief, but Pratik can talk more. It's an ability to get paid, to get rewards for participation. So you can participate in a certain protocol and get rewards. You can participate. Protocol is an application on blockchain, right? That's self-governed without human interaction, where the rules are embedded into the blockchain. So you can participate. What does it mean participate? If it's a lending protocol, you can provide liquidity. Usually it's a providing of liquidity. So you give assets to this protocol. You control those assets because it's a self-custody type of engagement. So you can pull it back at any point of time, those assets. You don't give it away. You see them on chain, and you know the rules that you participate in. So they usually pay you part of the revenue. That's yield farming in a nutshell. Pratik can talk more to that. It's a pretty complicated, a pretty niche way of earning funds. It was very successful in DeFi summer, when a lot of protocols paid a ton of money to attract capital. That's where the rewards come from. They come from marketing rewards, and they come from real revenue. So like, let's say Uniswap, as a trading protocol, charges fee and gives part of the fee to that for the participation. If we provide liquidity to Uniswap, we're going to get part of their revenue. So think about it as a bond or money market. When you really buy a bond, you give money to a business that pays you part of their revenue. So in reality, it's very similar to bond and money market. So it's yield farming, and DeFi is another way. So lending is way number one. Lending we're all familiar with, right? Very well. Second way is DeFi yield farming. So lending is usually centralized lending. DeFi is usually decentralized, right? So there's no counterparty. And third way, quite often, you see exchanges offering some crazy interest on the stablecoins. It's called margin trading. So they provide X10, X100, X1000 margin leverage to their traders, and then they liquidate positions, and then they make money. Exchange makes money by liquidating those positions. So giving huge leverage to their customers. Where do they get the money to give the leverage? Because you need to give the money to give the leverage. They offer huge interest to the other people who can provide them the stable coins to give that leverage. So also pretty risky business, not very ethical, because all the money comes from closing the position, so hurting your users. But that's a way some exchanges use to generate returns for interest on stablecoins. So yeah, all those three are we can go deep into them, discussing hours and hours and hours. So I mean, if there's any questions, I think Pratik can go very deep in DeFi because he's head of our research. And I can probably talk a little bit more about the lending as well, because we've read quite a bit and wrote quite a bit over the last year's market debacle that happened.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, obviously, I would like to discuss that also in brief. But before that, quick note for audience, guys, we're discussing about a very interesting topic today. And, honestly, it's great to have you all here, but we would love if you would interact with us and ask all the questions that you have in your mind. And I'm sure Pratik and Max will be happy to answer all your questions related to stablecoins and the topic we have today. So absolutely, Max, I agree with the point. We saw this debacle last year with Terra Luna, and the whole DPEG happened, and that made everybody question that how legit or how reliable these pegs are. So when we talk about a difference between CBDCs and stablecoins, CBDCs always have a leverage in this particular what do we say in this particular parameter. So, what do you think? How should people maybe think of it as, or maybe what is the reassurance that we can see in terms of stablecoins when it comes to investment?
Pratik, you want to handle that?
Yes, very relevant question, because the difference has to be clear. Terra Luna, UST, was a very specific type of stablecoin. It's not just any stablecoin. It was algorithmic stablecoin.
Yes.
And when your stablecoin is algorithmic stablecoin, there is nothing backing it other than the demand supply dynamics of that particular coin. So as long as there is demand for that ecosystem, the Terra ecosystem, your stablecoin holds value. So the value of that stablecoin depends on the belief in the ecosystem. CBDC, what you mentioned, is a stablecoin issued by Federal Reserve. So that's a government authority issuing a stablecoin. Of course, that will not be DPEG because it is issued by the people who themselves issue dollars and rupees, right? So that cannot be DPEG. So that has the advantage. But there is another category of stablecoins, which is fiat collateralized stablecoins, which is USDC. I can say about USDC, I'm not. USDT also claims to be that, but I'm not too sure. We are not too sure. There have been some issues with that. USDC for sure is a legitimate fiat reserved backed. So why that has very little chance of DPEG is because their reserves, which is if they mint one USDC on the blockchain, there is a $1 somewhere that is completely reserved for that one USDC. And the way they prove that is they have a fund only dedicated to the number of USDC that exists in the circulation. So every USDC that exists on a blockchain, there is $1 equivalent of a reserve. And that reserve is not managed by Circle. It's managed by BlackRock. So now there is a third party that is keeping an eye on Circle, which is the company that issues USDC, that they really have these dollars that are backing. So there will be no DPEG. As long as there are dollars that are backing your stablecoins, there will be no DPEG. And the DPEG in your Terra Luna happened because there was no real backing. It was algorithmic stablecoin. But if you look at fiat collateralized stablecoin like USDC, we don't have to worry about DPEG event, although it is not like a CBDC. CBDC is more that is issued by federal authority. But USDC is a stablecoin issued by a private company like Circle. And I feel that privately issued stablecoins are probably more trustworthy than a CBDC for the simple fact that it's not controlled by a government. So they won't have special interest. They're not going to direct where you spend your USDC. You're going to have the freedom to use however you want, except for illicit reasons. So if you're using it for illegal purposes, Circle has the authority to freeze your dollars, stablecoins. So that aspect is common in CBDC and centralized stablecoins. But centralized stablecoins are not that censorable as CBDC, for example.
Interesting. And I think this is something I did not know about USDT and USDC. I always thought both of them are fiat collateralized, but it was interesting.
They are. Yeah. So they are both fiat collateralized, and meaning they have US dollars or equivalent. So it could be US dollars, it could be US treasuries, it could be short-term bonds, commercial paper, or all those things. The problem with USDT was they had issue proving that they actually have enough dollars in their bank account backing the number of USDT. Their audits don't seem to be that confident enough for general public. Now, I'm not an expert in like really proving that this audit is more trustworthy than the other audit, but Circle's fund is definitely provable because it's actually managed by BlackRock and it's publicly available. Anybody can check at any time that how much dollars are in Circle's bank account backing the USDC. With USDT, there was a little bit of opacity in terms of that, so there was a little bit of confusion. It's not proven that they have made something fishy deals.
Agreed, 100%. So, Max, when we talk about, because when we talk about earning interest, everybody has got a certain percentage in their mind. How do we determine these percentages when it comes to stablecoin investing in earn interest, or maybe any other crypto investing in earn interest?
So your question is, what's what?
Yeah,
What's
what is
behind
the percentage
behind
and
the pyramid?
how do we get an idea of a certain percentage that we might be earning on our own interest when we are staking it, or maybe putting it in?
Okay, I got it. So yeah, there's a market for sure, like for anything else, right? So let's say we are in DeFi, right? So our business specializes in DeFi markets, right? We don't really trade on exchanges, right? We don't really lend the assets. So our core specialty is on DeFi yield farming. Right? Yield farming is also a niche of DeFi because DeFi has arbitrage, DeFi has trading, DeFi has liquidations. So there's different niches in DeFi as well, how to earn returns. Ours is yield farming. Yield farming is a passive income. So it's slow and steady. There is by design an accrual of interest because you get like a bond, right? You get your principal back at all time, and you on the top you earn part of the revenue of the protocol that you participate. So there's different benchmarks in the market. So how do you determine what do you earn, right? So there's different benchmarks. There's risk-free benchmark, like in traditional world, they say it's a T-bill, like a U.S. Treasury bill, right? Considered to be risk-free, even though a lot of people question that, maybe for a reason. I'm not an expert, as Pratik said. So, but they pay 5% right now, right? 5+ on their T-bills, right? I think 30 days maturity, like it's pretty liquid. You can sell it at any time. Even if it's 10-year bond, you don't have to hold it for 10 years. So it's, I think the benchmark today, like in everybody's mind, is 5%. So, and then when you go into the traditional world, you go to a bank, they pay you 2% on a dollar, 1% on a dollar, right? So it's like another benchmark that's risk-free, but in the bank, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to go and buy a T-bill. So it's the US and Canada. It's a Western world, right? So, and then you have bonds, you have corporate bonds, the AA, AAA, they're rated differently, right? But they all benchmarked against like a T-bill. T-bill is 5. Okay, I have a business, I'll issue a bond to get some money from the market. And auditor will say, I'm a AAA, I'm a golden business. I never went default, very strong revenue, balance sheet, and I'll pay 8%. So people will think, okay, I'll better give 8% from this AAA guy, right? His business is solid. Auditor gave him a stamp of approval. Then buy a T-bill. It's an extra 3%, 50% more, right? Because T-bill is 5. Here I'm getting 7.5, let's say 50% more, right? For that risk that I'm taking. And what's the risk? It's AAA bond, right? So that's kind of the traditional world. In DeFi, very similar. You have like a Aave, let's say, a golden protocol, Uniswap, right? Never hacked, very legit, blue chip, very easy to use. Get your MetaMask connected, send your coins into the pool, start earning, right? And they're paying like 1%, 1.5%. Right, so they call it risk-free premium, risk-free returns in DeFi. Right, and then there's other protocols that are more risky, that inflate their token. They might issue a lot of rewards, and they pay you 10%. Right, but they have very little. But they have like not AAA rating, but they have single B rating. Right, because some auditor in DeFi put that rating on them, or you through your internal scoring system or through your mind thought, okay, this is a B rating for the protocol, right? So, and there's different ways as well to maximize that, because some of it is very manual, you just put in, put out, but some of it can be do multiple steps. Put the funds here, take this token, put this token there, take another token, put it there, right? It doesn't mean it's leveraged, doesn't mean it's like building up the cake. It means like you're using different features, right, of different applications, just to maximize the value that you can extrapolate, that you can get. So, but this is hard because you have to manage that positions that you take, right? Because if you lend or borrow, you provide liquidity, you have to manage it and monitor that. So for people, it's usually hard to do that because it's 24/7. If you have a system and it has certain automation, then it might be easier, right? So as an example, in the real world, it would be if you want to buy a stock on an Indian stock market, sell it in Australian stock market, and then borrow on the US market at the same time, pretty quickly to make a profit, as an example, right? So you can do it probably, yeah, 3 people sitting pushing the buttons, but it's easier if the system that's connected to all that, right, will do certain events. So we are the system. So we use the system in DeFi markets, right? So we're fully automated. We can maximize it, and our returns are around 6-7% net to the customer after the fees. So it's pretty relevant in the US. It's pretty. I mean, it's pretty relevant in the not in the non-US, because in the US they have access to a lot of different financial instruments, right? And the T-bills are very accessible. But let's say in Turkey or Brazil or Argentina or even India, right? It's hard to buy US dollar in the first place, but then it's also hard to buy T-bill, or it's hard to buy a corporate bond from Microsoft, right? So the access to those financial products is constrained, right? So what we offer is like 6-7% on a dollar, right? Not on a local currency. It's pretty attractive because people want to store their value in dollars, right? Because it's still better to store in dollars than in a local currency. Even so, Americans say the dollar is de-dollarizing, right? And it's also inflated, right? But it's still better than, let's say, pesos in Argentina that lost 300% in a year, as an example, right? So in that instrument that gives you 6 or 7% on top of that, it's great because it gives you like passive income, slow and steady, and your principal is always safe. So that's a benchmark.
Interesting. So, Pratik, talking about the Indian taxation system, do you have an idea on or if or how are these on the interest that we earn is taxable?
I don't think I'm in a position to give any sort of legal or tax advice. My best guess is what I would say over here is it counts as an income, as any interest that you earn on a bank deposit. When you put your money in the bank in a fixed deposit, or even in stock market, whatever gains you have, when you sell the stock, then it counts as a short-term investment. So short-term tax is different than a long-term capital gains tax.
It's probably capital gains.
Capital gains tax, yeah. So it's probably going to be classified. I don't know the Indian tax system for crypto specifically, and I don't think there is enough clarity either at this point. At one point, the finance minister also mentioned that there was going to be TDS for every transaction that you do on crypto. It is there, right? So there's going to be TDS. That's one form of taxation. So basically that is one. But if you are earning on a daily basis, let's say on a platform like Unocoin or Coinchange, you will have to report that as your earnings at the end of the year when you file your taxes. Those are your earnings, and how they want to classify it is a question for a tax accountant. CA.
Okay. So I think with this part, we'll have to do a little bit of our own research, because absolutely there is a lack of clarity around Indian taxation system for crypto. But there's another interesting thing that I would like to know over here for our audience. Pratik, when we talk about earn interest in terms of crypto, and there's also an interest in terms of our normal fiat, like you mentioned earlier, we can earn interest in fixed deposits and other type of investments. So which one do you think would an Indian person prefer, and which has got more utility for them given at this given hour?
So the one that the yield that Unocoin in collaboration with Coinchange is offering is the yield on US dollars, USDC stablecoin. And the difference is what Max just mentioned a couple minutes ago. One is where you're holding the world's reserve currency and earning interest on it. And the other is where you're holding Indian rupees and earning interest on it. Let's just say both are giving you 7%. Or in fact, let's say you're getting 7% in FD in your Indian rupees. I think there are some banks that give you 7% on FD in Indian rupees. you would probably think, why should I go for 6% on USDC when I get 7% on my Indian rupee bank account? The answer is, if you look at the past decade or so of Indian rupees value versus dollars value, Indian rupee has devalued. So when I moved to US a few years ago, the conversion was maybe 60, 65 rupees for $1.
Mhm.
Today, if you check, it is 82
82
rupees
rupees.
per dollar, which means you need more rupees to get the same dollar. So imagine someone was earning 6% yield on dollars at that time. His or her purchasing power is still maintained. Whereas someone who was earning 7% on Indian rupees, his purchasing power has gone down because rupee has devalued in relation to dollar. So if you want to hold, I wouldn't say you should leave all rupees and put everything into dollars. It's all about diversification and putting your bets in the right places, right? So you can diversify some part of your portfolio, earn yield on the world's reserve currency, which is US dollars, as some part of your portfolio, and that would be the strategy I would personally go for in this case, if I had the choice of earning yield on rupees and US dollar stablecoins.
Not investment advice.
Yes,
When
absolutely.
people say it's not an investment advice, it always sounds like one.
Actually, yeah, because we see a lot of speculation that goes around in the market. Every time we see there's another Telegram group that you're being added to, there are a bunch of predictions happening in that, and people just get carried away, especially in a place like India where people financial literacy is not really high. And people tend to get carried away when there's a bull run, and everybody's just running behind a hype. So obviously, it's very necessary over here to mention that this is not a financial advice. You always need to do your own research. Now, talking about from a layman perspective, Pratik and Max. So, for example, there's a person who doesn't know anything about crypto. There's a person who doesn't know anything about the facility of earning interest. What is the bare minimum requirement for him to enter the space and start making money through earn interest?
Pratik, I can take that. Yeah, so I mean, I would say I'll retract back a little bit and comment to your note. Everybody gets carried away when there's a bull run. Not only people in India, all over the world. Right? It's very easy to get carried away. We do too, right? I mean, right, when there's a price action, we think, okay, I should buy now. Why wait? Right? So it's I think it's just in our brains. That's how we wire it, right? So from a perspective of the our product, when we started our initial our mission, and still was democratize access to wealth management, right? Democratize access to regular person, right? To get some returns on their assets, no matter how much they earn. Because in the US, as you know, there is an accreditation and qualification that people have to go through to be able to access, let's say, an investment opportunity, right? You have to be accredited. Accredited means you have to have $5 million of assets. Who has $5 million of assets today, right? Working from 9 to 5, impossible to get 5. Impossible even to survive right now with this kind of prices. But overall, saying the least, have a $5 million of assets. So our idea was to bring sophisticated, reliable, institutional type of returns for regular consumers. Okay, so the product was designed, at least in our case, without many limitations. So it's available with minimum deposit of $2. There's no minimum deposit, pretty much, right? Everybody has $2 to deposit. There is no lockup. You don't need to leave the money there forever or for a month or for a year. You can leave it there for a day and take it back tomorrow and still earn something that day. So it doesn't. So there's no minimum. There is no lockup, right? And it accrues daily. What's important, it pays you daily as well. So it's not like it's going to pay you at the end. You take the money out, yes, take the money any time, but we don't pay you. No, there's no tricks like that. You get paid every day. In your account, you'll see that you paid every day. At Unocoin, when it's integrated, you'll see that you get paid every day. It's different interest. It's different because whatever we earn, we take a small cut and we push it to the customers. We earn it on a day, we take a cut, we earn it, push it to the customer. So every day, they get in something to your wallet. That's important. Right? And this is something that it's real. You can withdraw it. It's there, right? And it's daily. And it's also the other part that's interesting. It's compounded. So whatever you earn goes on top. And so compounding is very powerful effect. I don't know if there's any people who love Warren Buffett, but he said it's like the eighth miracle, right? It's eighth wonder of the world, right? Because it creates really wonderful things if you compound for a long period of time. So we compound daily as well. So it's a beautiful product that's available for anyone, right? Consumers, right? We didn't try to make it for Wall Street, for BlackRock, or people they service. We try to make it for regular people. So daily, no lockup, no minimum, right? And pretty much fully flexible. And we offer it through partnerships. So we have a partnership in Brazil, we have a partnership in Turkey right now, we have a partnership in Poland, we have a partnership in India. And we have more partners right now: Argentina, Peru, Lithuania, Philippines, that we're working with. So to pretty much provide, a reliable, sustainable, flexible access to an institutional type product for a regular person.
I think it's a great product, given the fact that there's, the thing that most people get worried about when it comes to the traditional FDs, the traditional investments. There's a lock-in period. That is the biggest issue of all time. Like, you need to invest for a certain time period. For that time, your money is gone. You can't touch it. And if you touch it, there's going to be some repercussions to that. You're going to lose some money out of it. If it is not logged, and if it is getting, people are earning something every day, I feel like it's a really good product. So now, because a lot of our audience is familiar to Hindi, Pratik, can you also translate the same thing into Hindi so that they'll also get a gist of what Max just said and are able to understand this better?
Yeah, sure. Can you repeat the original question one more time so I'm talking in relevance to that?
Yes. So my question was, what is the bare minimum requirement for a layman to enter the space if they don't know about crypto, if they don't know about stable coins, and if they don't know about the earned interest feature?
Okay, bare minimum. Okay, so with platforms like Unocoin, Coinchange, the bare minimum is even lower, because you're not expected to know the Solidity language, for example. In within our company, we have experts who are fluent with smart contract languages, and interacting with smart contracts, you can do it on your own, earn yield on your stable coins and crypto coins, but that requires a higher barrier to entry, because you have to learn the language, you have to learn the Solidity commands to interact with smart contracts. It's not just pushing a button. When we talk about Uniswap, for example, that's one step ahead. So Uniswap allows you to earn yield, maybe allows you to interact with the smart contracts on the blockchain through an interface that's easy to understand for a layman person. But again, that's just one protocol, Uniswap. Now you have to learn about Aave. Now you have to learn about Trader Joe. You have to learn about Compound. There's so many different protocols. With companies like platforms like Unocoin or Coinchange, it's a one platform that gives you access to all the DeFi yields. So we do the job of actually hunting for the different protocols that are optimizing the interest. We do the job of switching the money from this pool to that protocol, and then transferring the yield to you. So the barrier to entry with platforms like Unocoin and Coinchange is very, very low. So all you need to learn is probably wallet using. You need to learn how to open an account on any app that you would as the stock market. And basically, you just have to transfer your fiat, which in case of Unocoin would be Indian rupees, to the app, and you have to buy the relevant crypto you want. So I think the the effort on the user is the research that needs to be done themselves in order to know whether you want to buy Bitcoin or stablecoin or Ethereum. At least some level of understanding of what each cryptocurrency is doing and why you should buy in the first place should be the work that people should do. And instead of spending time on what each protocol is, let the experts do that, like the DeFi experts like Unocoin and Coinchange.
I think that was a very nice and easy way to understand the technology. Guys, like we always say, research is the key. If you are keeping your research very solid, everything is going to be very easy for you in the market, be that in terms of earning the interest, be that in terms of daily trading, or be that in terms of the basic level of investing. So we have a question here, Pratik and Max, from Mujed Sheikh, he's asking, can we do arbitrage method to gain more income on crypto and not with stable coins?
Listen, I can speak to that a little bit. I'll reiterate. So arbitrage is more of a centralized exchanges method of earning returns, right? So you have to trade. So pretty much price prediction. So you buying an apple for $1 in one place and then selling for $1.10 in the other place, right? You make 10 cents because Apple has a different price in Arizona than it has in Texas, right? And you have an ability to buy and sell at the same time. I think Pratik can have another example with lemonade. That's great. I love it as well. But arbitrage is not something that we do. Arbitrage is possible to do it we do a bit of an arbitrage as well on the DeFi markets, but it's an interest rate arbitrage strategy. So it's a specific strategy that that borrows at the lowest rate and lands at a higher rate and does it in circle. I think Pratik can talk to that as well. But price arbitrage, we don't really do, right? It's a different trading business. We're not in trading. Trading is a pretty successful business if you know how to do it right. But there's a lot of people who trade, like Citadel, BlackRock right now has their trading desk in crypto. So it's very, 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 very competitive. And you can be earning 20, 30, 40% a year and then lose everything in a day because somebody else comes in and you have a huge drawdown and they keep winning you all the time on their algorithms and they're closer to the exchange. They get better rebates. There's tons of other variables that you might not know as a trader that comes to play. So it's very risky, super risky, but it's very profitable if you do it right. And you can be profitable for a long time, for let's say 8 months, 9 months. We know one desk that was making 100% a year for doing arbitrage trading across multiple different exchanges, having 30 people on their team, quants, execution in CeFi, Binance, OKX, OAB, all different exchanges. And then they started to lose money. 3 weeks in a row, they started 3 months in a row, losing money. And they still do. And they're still trying to figure out why and how to start making money back. So it's very different to what we do. In our business, by design, you cannot start losing money because your principal is always there and you get on top of it, you get rewards for participation, right? The only way to lose money in our business is a cyber attack on the protocol. This is the only way you can lose, right? So if the protocol gets hacked at a certain point and you're in the pool that's hacked with the coins that have been hacked, then you're exposed. And there's a lot of things that we do from our side to mitigate that on the automation, on the analysis, on the risk management. But this risk is understandable and it's lower. In a trading world, you don't know the risk because the other counterparty, a hedge fund in Asia, can come to the game with more money, better technology, better servers, closer to the Binance group, let's say, and start bidding you on every millisecond that you're trying to get the order and price prediction order. So our business doesn't rely on speed that much. Arbitrage does. Our business doesn't rely on centralized exchanges at all. We don't need to go and talk to a centralized exchange. We work with centralized exchanges that offer our product, but we don't make trading on the centralized exchange. We don't need to go and say, okay, Binance, give us better terms, give us better rebates, better API, right? We don't have to do that. DeFi is very open for everybody to participate. DeFi has open rules. So that's the beauty. Any good engineers from no matter where they are, Australia, India, Russia, China, US, Peru, can start building stuff on top of DeFi, right? So there's no closed doors. There is no behind the doors deals that needs to be made to win. So arbitrage is very risky because there are a lot of people trying to do that on CeFi. We don't touch the CeFi trading at all. It's not trading business. We're in a low and steady passive income with safety of the principal.
Agreed, 100%. I think that is the beauty of the whole Web3 ecosystem, that it is decentralized by its very core nature and, it's open to anybody and everybody. Pratik, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think the question, he understands because he's saying not with stable coins, right? So he understands okay, arbitrage can happen on volatile crypto. What I would say is connecting this to your question about barrier to entry or the minimum requirements, right? Typically for you to make money in arbitrage, you need large pools of capital. You won't be successful with small amounts of capital because the fees included and the transactions included will eat away your profits. So एक सिंपल एग्जांपल आई कैन हिंदी में भी एक्सप्लेन कर सकता हूँ. आप अगर सब्जी लेने जाते हो, टमाटर लेने जाते हो, आपके घर के नीचे जो टमाटर वाला होता है, उसका टमाटर थोड़ा महंगा होता है. अगर आप मेन मार्केट में जाते हो, जहाँ पे सब टमाटर वाले बैठते हैं, वहाँ पे आपको थोड़ा सस्ता मिलेगा. दैट इज द आर्बिट्राज. वो आर्बिट्राज है कि ये टमाटर वाला वहां से टमाटर खरीद के लाता है सुबह सुबह और आपको शाम को बेचता है, तो जो डिफरेंस है उसमें उसको प्रॉफिट मिलता है. लेकिन अगर ये सब्जी वाला 5 टमाटर खरीद के लाएगा और 5 बेचेगा आपको, उसको उतना प्रॉफिट नहीं होगा. 500 टमाटर लाके बेचेगा, थोड़ा ज़्यादा प्रॉफिट होगा. बट उसको जितना मेहनत लगता है, उसको पेट्रोल का जो कॉस्ट आता है, गाड़ी लेनी पड़ेगी, वो वर्थ नहीं है 500 टमाटर में. लेकिन अगर 5 लाख टमाटर वो लेके आता है और 5 लाख टमाटर बेच रहा है वो दिन में, और उसमें अगर उसको हर टमाटर पे ज़्यादा मिल रहा है, अब उसको प्रॉफिट हो रहा है. सो द प्रॉफिट होने के लिए आर्बिट्राज में थोड़ा पैसा ज़्यादा लगता है. राइट. एंड वो वन टाइम है. आपको फिर नेक्स्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी वापस हंट करना है, वापस आपको देखना है. क्योंकि एक बार लोगों को पता चला कि टमाटर में प्रॉफिट है, वो अकेला तो नहीं करेगा, और भी लोग आएंगे, टमाटर लेंगे, फिर उनका भाव थोड़ा कम होगा, फिर इसका थोड़ा लॉस होगा, ये भाव कम करेगा. एट सम पॉइंट ये आर्बिट्राज चला जाएगा. सो आर्बिट्राज अपॉर्चुनिटी का प्रॉब्लम ये होता है, एक बार लोगों को पता चल गया, इट इज ओनली अ मैटर ऑफ टाइम until it lasts. After that, it will go away.
We have an interesting comment over here. I'm sure you guys can see that. साथ ये saying tomato तो McDonald's वालों ने भी बंद कर दी. Anyways, which was a little irrelevant, but yeah, funny indeed. So, absolutely, tomatoes are expensive, but the idea was to explain the concept of arbitrage over here. And I think Pratik did it very beautifully by explaining the bare minimum requirement for that, which is a huge capital. If you have that kind of resources, sure, you go ahead with that. But other than that, if you wanna use your passive crypto, I think earn interest is the best thing to do. So on this, I think it's time that we conclude our AMA for today, Max and Pratik. It was an interesting and a very amazing session. I loved learning so many new things. I'm sure our audience did too. So I hope that you liked our session today and you also enjoyed being with us here. We'll again do a session soon because I know there are so many things that we cannot just cover in 1 hour long session. There's so many more things. So definitely we are going to plan something soon. Again, we'll get to know more things around this. Thank you so much for being here with us. It was an amazing experience.
Thanks for having us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Shambhavi. Thank you.
Thank you.